my very first introduction to teaching course. It's an early childhood development course. The professor comes to me and asks what grade level I was interested in. And I said, high school. I had a really rough time in high school. I didn't have a lot of great friends. Teachers were really not very supportive most of the time. And then there was a couple of bright spots for me. Um, One I can think of in particular was my English teacher. She was a punk from New Orleans, Helen Farinas. If by any chance you're listening to this, hey, what's up? How's it going? Um, I was really inspired by her. She really took an interest in me, encouraged me in ways that I really needed at the time, was just a stand up person, just wonderful and could relate to me. And I was so inspired by that that I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a high school teacher. I'm going to be like the cool teacher that comes in and shakes things up, and all the weird kids can feel comfortable coming to me, and I will be their change maker. I will turn things around for them. And this one professor looks me dead in the eye and says, "You're too young to teach high school. In 4 years, you'll be in your early 20s, and no high school is going to hire you. So rethink that, maybe kindergarten." I was so busy just trying to feed myself that I took her words, left, and didn't go back.
Mm.
Dropped out of college, continued working 2, 3 retail jobs at a time. Um, Landed with a really great family. So my best friend, her family had a guest room, and I kind of showed up one day and didn't leave, which stabilized my living environment. Met my husband. We started dating a couple years later. Um, I was still working a lot in retail. I worked my way into retail management. I was an in-store buyer and trainer for an adult bookstore. Um, Loved my job. It was really interesting. I met a lot of really cool people. Um, my husband and I decided that we were going to move to Los Angeles together. Quit that job, was in the process of finding another job, kind of floating the idea of going to cosmetology school, and found out that I was pregnant with my oldest child at 21. At that point, he was bartender making a ton of money, and um, we sat down and I was like, listen, I'm trying to find a job. I almost landed this assistant manager job that was kind of a dream job. It was at Tower Records in Sherman Oaks.
Mhm.
I was up for the assistant manager role. They really loved me. I was like, any kid who grew up watching Empire Records, like, this is the dream.
Yeah, totally.
Um, my final interview, I was like, hey, just so y'all know, I'm 5 months pregnant. So I'm going to be having to take some leave soonish. And then I never heard back. And I was crushed naturally. And I came home, I talked to my husband, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm halfway through this pregnancy. I can't find a job to save my life. I don't know what I'm doing. And he was like, that's fine. Just enjoy being pregnant, enjoy the rest of it. We'll figure it out later. Once our oldest was born, we sat down together and talked about it. And it was like, whoever could make the most money would go work, the other person would stay home. He is older than I am, had been working for longer than me, was already making good money. And let's be honest, it's the United States. It's a dude. He's white. He has far more earning potential than I do, especially at the time. So I stayed home and did that for 12 years.
So there are lots there. Also, the adult
Lots
bookstore
there.
was like,
Yeah.
let's go back to that moment in college with the teacher. That's
Yeah,
wild. That is a psycho thing to say to someone.
it truly is. It truly is. And especially someone so young
Yeah, totally.
and eager and excited
Mhm.
to just put whatever you have on that person in that moment. It's just I can't imagine a scenario where I'd have so much disregard in someone else's experience and feelings.
What's also interesting is like so much of you wanting to be a teacher was to be the teacher that gave people the counter experience to that. Like that person
Absolutely.
pushed you out by doing that when literally you were part of why you were there was to give people the counter of that.
Yeah, just to wrap my arms around anyone who felt like they didn't belong, and then suddenly to have this one person say, "Well, actually, you don't belong."
Yeah, totally.
It was devastating.
Totally. Well, and do you mind if we tag back to your current role right now, just on one idea?
Yeah, absolutely.
So professionally, especially in the role that you're in now, you understand, of course, like from this experience, but then also now, like the power of of the power that leaders or people in authority can have when they speak too casually, and how that can it really impact people's worldview, view of themselves, view of their work, view of what they can accomplish. So any thoughts on that from like an HR perspective and like, just in regards to like what leaders should consider?
Yes. So, again, I can mostly speak from my own experience in how I approach things. This is why I treat everyone the same. I give everyone so much grace because I don't know what their life experiences looked like up until that moment when we interact. I hope that other leaders do the same. I know that that's not always practical or sorry, my cat decided to join us. Mhm. He has a lot to say on the subject as well, apparently. Um, I would hope that folks, as they're rising to the ranks of executive, have interacted with enough people that they have a base understanding that everyone is different and everyone comes from a fully different life experience that they may not um, have encountered before, and that they approach everyone with the same kind of grace that they would hope that their bosses before them would have given them.